Yu is a pathetic loser who lost his mother before becoming a happy family with her. But when he is forced to live with 3 of the school's most popular baddies, he wants to fulfill his mother's wish to create a happy family, so he rizzes up the girls and becomes their new hot daddy. It all starts at Seika Academy, where gifted students cultivate their talents, and our boy, Yu, has just transferred to this elite school. But on the first day, he's getting whooped by the vice captain of the martial arts club, while everyone watches. The vice captain scolds Yu for being a soy boy loser, and everyone looks down on him for not being able to follow in the footsteps of his mother, Subaru, and a list actress who is the personification of greatness. The vice president tells Yu that he needs to show his talent to the 3 royals, who are the 3 top students at the academy. But out of anger, Yu tells him to stop comparing him to his mother. He charges at the vice president, but the anime gods forgot to give him plot armor, and he can only punch like a weakling and gets himself yeeted to the floor. Everyone watches in disgust at how pathetic the son of the great Subaru really is, but Yu reflects how he's used to being treated as a failure compared to his mother. Suddenly, he preaches and rizzes up the vice president to stop being obsessed with talent, and the dude actually folds for a second, realizing that Yu has his mother's godly charms. Yu simply gives up and walks away, not caring about the loss. But the vice president knows how fatal it is if Yu has no real talent, so he grabs him with the intention of beating him until he achieves greatness. But in that moment, the vice president gets kicked by the president of the martial arts club, and one of the 3 royals, Nico, who is the best martial artist at the academy. The next moment, surprising everyone with their presence, are the other 2 royals showing up. Miwa, the top performing student in the advanced program and chess hottest prospect, and Kazuki, the brightest star of the art department and the best theater actor. Yu trembles in fear, questioning why the 3 royals are here. Kazuki approaches him, and when she finds out that he's an absolute scrub with 0 talent, she bluntly informs Yu that he has no place in this school, which is filled with talented people. To their confusion, he shows them his accepted application to join the school's general education. But the girls have no clue what that is, as they are used to studying at the top, and not the general. After seeing their unwelcoming reaction, Yu tries to walk away and go to his general class, but Nico stops him and tells him to clean up the dojo. Yu tries to reject her demand, telling these hoes that he ain't a slave, but Nico tells this bum that losers have to clean the dojo, and Yu half-heartedly follows her orders. Later, when the martial arts team enters the dojo, they are in shock at how clean the dojo is after Yu cleaned it. Meanwhile, Yu is on his way to his new home, and he reflects on how, for as long as he can remember, he has always wanted to get praised like his talented mother. He initially tried to train his acting skills, and was confident when he reached the acting levels of The Rock. But when he saw firsthand how his mother acted like Denzel, he realized then that, compared to her, he was a talentless scrub. However, he kept trying in different fields to showcase his talents, but every time he failed, he grew more distant from his own mother. But then, Subaru got horribly ill, and Yu just realized how distant he had been to her, who was the only family he had. But then, in the hospital, she started rewatching one of her film series, where she played a mother in a happy family over and over again. Yu told her how he liked that show, and his mother said that she loved it as well. She asked him what he loved about the series, and when he expressed his love for the scenes where the family had dinner, Subaru told him that she loved those scenes the best as well. It was then that Yu realized that, despite all the talent she had, what she truly wanted was to have a family like the one in that series. But before Yu could fulfill her greatest wish, she died, and left Yu a note, wishing for him to have his own happy family. While he doesn't know how to achieve it, Yu intends to get it and make up for everything he and his mother missed out on. He reaches the house he will be staying in, and to his joy, it's a massive, beautiful mansion. Suddenly, Nico pops up, attacking him while wearing her towels, calling him a creep and a burglar. Yu quickly says that he's not a burglar, and Nico demands an explanation from him. Suddenly, she slips and ends up on the floor in prime position for someone like Johnny Sins to pounce.
Yeah, boy.
Then, instead of helping her up, Yu mocks her using his aura, and when she tries to smack him, he throws a towel on her head and starts drying her. When she tries to fight back, he rizzes her to calm down, and she lets him dry his hair. Suddenly, the other two pop up after their long day, and they surround Yu, demanding an explanation. But Yu himself is confused about why the three royals are also here. In that moment, Yu's phone rings, and the owner of the house informs him that he will start living there as a favor he has for his late mother, and that he has 3 daughters living there. He hopes that Yu will get along with them, and that his talent can thrive, so his mother's legacy of greatness lives on. Yu realizes that the dream of having his own happy family is dead as the sisters don't welcome his presence in their home. They can't believe that their father took in a stray loser, and they refuse to take care of him. But Yu is still convinced there's hope that they can be a happy family together, and tries to win them over. He suddenly notices something on the floor, but Kazuki quickly picks it up before him. In that moment, he looks around and realizes that the house is a complete mess. He then sees that the sink is filled with dirty dishes, and the girls blame Kazuki for failing to do her chores. But she excuses herself, saying that she was too busy rehearsing theater. But Yu finds some broken plates hidden, and they realize that Kazuki did try to wash the dishes, but she was so horrible that she broke all of them, and Kazuki gets flustered. Then, Yuuki brings out the dirty laundry, and they reveal that Miwa was responsible for it, and she fails to do her chores as well. Out of frustration, Miwa tells Yu to take over her chore, but Yu has no issues with it. He then points out that Nico is responsible for house cleaning, which she failed in, but she has had enough of him mocking them for failing to do house chores. The 3 royals start barking back at him, pointing out his failures in school, but while they're yapping nonsense, Yu gets busy, and to their surprise, he manages to clean up everything, all the while they were mocking him. Nico remembers how he was the one who cleaned the dojo, and Yu uses his handsome face to riz them up.
Oh my!
And they all quickly regroup to avoid his charms. The next morning, Yu is excited that he has a day off, but suddenly, the house starts shaking, and he realizes that Nico is in the middle of her intense training in her dojo so early in the morning. He then finds Miwa already training to play shogi against Ai, and deep in frustration. And he finds Kazuki in the kitchen cooking up devious green juice like he's Walter White. He asks Kazuki what all of them are doing, and she informs him that they are doing their morning routine, stating that the same way he brushes his teeth in the morning, they all do their own routines. She then tells Yu that they will all head out and asks Yu to watch over the house. Wanting to build a happy family, Yu asks that they have breakfast together, and Kazuki coldly brushes him off, saying she wants to go to rehearsal. Yu then tries to get Miwa for breakfast, but to his surprise, she's already snacking on unhealthy foods while practicing shogi. However, when he tries to stop her, he can feel the immense aura coming out of her, and realizes that they remind him of his mom. He remembers how his mother always brushed him off whenever he invited her for breakfast, and instead had her own pre-cooked diet food in the fridge. Suddenly, Nico pops up from practice and drools over the food. But when Yu offers her some, she rejects, and despite him teasing her, she tells him that the food he's eating is not balanced enough for her. It confuses him why someone cares that much about breakfast, but she tells him that in order for her to be the best, she has to feed herself the best nutrition. He now sees how unlike normal people like him, prodigies like his mom or the sisters are so driven that they do everything to get better at their talents, like Miwa eating sugary foods to feed her brain. Just then, the sisters all run outside to start their day, but Yu quickly stops them. He tells them that they forgot something, and all 3 of them rummage through their belonging in panic. They all scream at him once they don't find anything missing, but Yu tells them they're wrong, and in a loving manner, he gives them all a warm goodbye, saying that they forgot that. It shocks them all to hear that, and while they all call it a stupid thing to do, as they all walk away, they are all blushing from cheek to cheek, as they have never had anyone so warmly send them off their day. Then, Yu gets a phone call from their father to check on him. He then asks Yu for a favor to be his daughter's helping hand, as he believes that his daughters, while prodigies, will run into obstacles, and by helping them overcome those obstacles, they will open up to him. The father tells him that Kazuki has a tough audition, Nico has her martial arts tournament, and Miwa has her shogi events, which gives an opening for him to help them out. But Yu has no idea how he, a useless, talentless bum, could ever be an assistance to prodigies like those 3. However, when he starts imagining the girls fail in what they do best, he can't help but recall how painful it was for him when he failed and became his mother's disappointment. so he decides to do what he can, and he starts by planning to get to know them better by eating meals together with them. Later, after martial arts practice, Nico goes home to Yu cooking and screams out loud, forgetting they are living together. When she sees Yu tasting his food, she creams over how hot he is. Yu then offers Nico to have a taste of his cooking, and while she was tempted at first, she pulls back her composure and rejects his offer, saying that she refuses to be tamed by his cooking. She leaves him to take a beauty shower, and when she returns to the kitchen, she's surprised to see Yu cooking even more intensely with all the different cookbooks in front of him. Just then, Miwa pops up in the kitchen, and Yu declares to them that he will cook the greatest meals for them, but the girls simply brush him off. It reminds Nico of how she and her sisters always rejected all of their housemaids' cooking. She deeply believed that she had to control what she consumed, so she could always be in the best shape possible. But in the middle of eating her dry chicken breast, Nico gets curious and takes a peek at what Yu cooked for them. She instantly drools at the sight of the gourmet meal she's presented with, and Yu pops up from behind. He obsessively informs her how the food has all the nutrients she needs to get in the best shape, and after his insistence, Nico agrees to eat it. Yu collapses from fatigue and tells Nico that he cooked recommended food by dietitians just for her, and it makes Nico blush to know that he did all of that just for her. When she finally takes a bite, she praises Yu for his cooking, and he imagines it like him taming a stray cat using a bottle of milk. Meanwhile, Miwa is secretly drooling while stalking them, and when she steps down, Yu also pesters her with information about how the food he cooked has the perfect acids to boost her brain power. Miwa agrees to eat them, and Nico realizes that Yu also cooked specifically with Miwa's interest in mind. While they're eating, the sisters start talking about how long it has been since they last ate together, and Yu smiles at their interaction. Just then, Kazuki pops up, confused seeing her sisters eating together. Just like before, Yu yaps to her about how her cooking would be beneficial for her and her talent, giving him a clear skin for theater, but to his surprise, Kazuki coldly rejects his offer. Nico tries backing him up against Kazuki, but Kazuki tells them that dining in together is not for her, and Yu sees it like a cat refusing to be fed. It leaves him hurt and heartbroken, and Nico feels bad for him, knowing how hard he worked for the food, so she takes the food from his hand and eats it herself. However, Yu suddenly yaps about how Kazuki's meal will make her fat due to the high amount of carbs in it, which angers Nico, who is trying to be nice. But then, Yu sweetly assures her that he will help keep track of her food, and Nico turns redder than a tomato. 3 days later, Yu starts school, still wondering how to get through to Kazuki and fulfill their father's wish for him to help his daughters out. He decides the best way is to confront her head-on, so he goes to her while she is in the middle of getting glazed by her fangirls. They all recognize Yu as the talentless scrub, and Kazuki joins in mocking him. Suddenly, Yu starts pleading to Kazuki to stop denying his advances and to instead accept his special gift, one that he knows will make her very happy. But while Yu is referring to the food, the others think Yu is bumping bellies with Kazuki. They demand that Kazuki explain why she's tickling a loser's pickle, and Yu runs away, seeing the chaos. He approaches Nico to get help to get closer to Kazuki, but when he calls out to her, all she can remember is how much she gets flustered by him. Her friends confront Yu for acting friendly with Nico, but Nico herself pops up with a devastating aura, scaring all of them, and Yu runs away to his final resort, Miwa. Meanwhile, Miwa is in class, busy playing shogi on her phone. When she overhears others having trouble with a math question, she easily answers it for them, but instead of them being amazed, they feel intimidated by Miwa's intelligence. When Yu arrives, he realizes how, unlike her other sisters, and like back home, Miwa is extremely quiet at school. Yu tries talking to her and gets her to have lunch with him, but Miwa refuses and walks away from him. However, Yu refuses to give up and starts chasing her, which results in a wild goose chase around the campus, all because he wants to have lunch with her. It ends with them both slumped and out of energy, but Yu realizes that Miwa is as bad athletically as he is. He points out how Miwa is quiet in class, and she admits how, as one of the 3 royals, she struggles to connect with the others and talk about girls' stuff. Yu expresses how he can relate as a fellow royal like her, which annoys Miwa, and he tells her that he's a royal failure who fails at practically everything. In that moment, Miwa giggles at his foolishness, calling him an idiot. After calming down, they have lunch and Miwa informs Yu that to get closer to Kazuki, he has to find out her favorite food. Miwa recalls how when they were little, Kazuki asked their mother for something special to eat, and Yu realizes that he has to find Kazuki's favorite food, which is her mother's cooking. Later, at home, Yu tries to cook something special when Kazuki walks in and collapses in front of Yu. Then, they find out that she has a severe fever, and while the others try to care for her, she kicks them all out of her room, refusing their help. Yu refuses to give up and plans to send her more food, but Kazuki refuses to try them and calls them all disgusting, which frustrates Yu. He barges into her room to get her his cooking, and when she tries to kick him out, she feels extremely weak and falls on top of him. Yu tells her that she will miss her rehearsals if this keeps on going, and suggests that he become her acting partner until she gets better. He boasts himself as the son of the great actress, Subaru, who has started acting from a young age, and Kazuki realizes that she might be in the presence of greatness himself. But when Yu actually starts reading his dialogue, he sounds like a dying cow and gets kicked out for being useless. However, he refuses to give up trying and comes back days after days after days to be her acting partner, but always gets kicked out in the end. It frustrates Kazuki how unlike her, who is always flawless and dependable, Yu is someone so pathetic and unreliable. Then, one night, she goes downstairs and finds Yu watching all of her performance on the television while practicing his lines so he can get better. Kazuki feels touched by his effort, and even though Yu continues to be a trash actor, she acknowledges his hard work. The next day, Yu is back in her room, trying to be her acting partner, but after what Kazuki saw the night before, she doesn't kick him out and joins him in acting. It touches Yu, and to both of their surprise, Yu manages to deliver one line of dialogue brilliantly. He starts crying to his mother, feeling emotional about how he manages to act well after more than 10 years of trying, and Kazuki can't help but feel envy with how passionate Yu is with his own struggles. Kazuki admits her defeat and agrees to eat his cooking so she can get healthier. Yu celebrates and promises to cook her a masterpiece, but Kazuki asks him to stop and tells him that she has a request. Before she says anything, Kazuki curls up in her bed, feeling embarrassed by what she's about to say. After gathering enough courage, she tells Yu that she doesn't like eating carrots, mushrooms, bell peppers, and many more. And Yu realizes that all this time, Kazuki was just a fussy eater. The next morning, Miwa and Nico are in total shock to see Kazuki joining them for dinner after her rejections the past week. Yu compliments her for finishing her food, and Kazuki is happy to eat them as long as there are no carrots. But to her surprise, Yu whispers in her ear, saying that she blended the carrots in, causing her to start tweaking. It makes Yu extremely happy to finally be able to tame all 3 kittens through his cooking. But suddenly, they all tell him not to cook dinner for them. When asked why, they explain that they will all be eating out as they all have their own practice and activities. When they leave, it reminds Yu of how his mother used to do the same, not eating at home for a month, which caused their relationship to get strained. He realizes even more that, just like his mom, he 3 sisters are both gifted and obsessed, while he is only a talentless bum who is trash at everything. He recalls how their father asked him to be his daughter's helping hand, and how Yu's mother wished him to get himself a happy family. But he quickly realizes that he doesn't know what makes a happy family.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here.
So he puts on his mother's TV series where she played a loving mother in a happy family, and can't help but smile seeing the warmth in front of him. Then, the family on the TV is preparing their wedding ceremony to show to their kids, but it makes Yu feel conflicted seeing his own mother in a wedding dress. Just then, the 3 sisters return home after their day of activities, and when Kazuki sees Yu in tears and what he is watching on the television, she assumes that he is missing his mother dearly. So she approaches Yu with kindness and tells him that he doesn't have to force himself to do the chores just to win them over. The other sisters agree and remind him that he's only a freeloader, but that offends Yu. He stands up and tells them that he refuses to be a freeloader, as with his mother. He always thought that with the talent difference between them, he and his own mother could never bond together. But then he realized that they're quite similar to each other in a lot of ways. But before they got to rebuild their relationship, Subaru died, and Yu doesn't want that to happen between him and the sisters. He declares that he wants to make a happy family with the sisters, and they are all in shock to hear that. Nico thinks his idea is absurd and asks what his plan is to make a happy family with them. Just then, on the television, it shows a wedding scene between Subaru and her TV husband, and the girls quickly realize that Yu can achieve a happy family by marrying them. The girls start fantasizing about themselves in wedding dresses, but that annoys all the girls, and they tell Yu that he will never clap their cheeks as a loving husband. Later, in the bath, Nico thinks about Yu and how he's so strong that he's able to keep his slim gym in check while living with 3 hot girls. Suddenly, he screams, and when Nico checks on him, she finds out that he's crying over a trivial thing and scolds him for ruining her bath time. He scolds her back for only wearing her towel, not wanting her to get cold, but she gets flustered and runs back to the bathroom. Suddenly, she runs into Miwa, and she notices how red Nico's face is, which is weird to her, and while Nico tries to hide the truth, Miwa suspects it involves Yu. Just then, Yu hands Miwa her laundry, but when Miwa reaches out, their hands touch, and Miwa gets startled, causing the laundry to fall. Nico points out how Miwa is blushing and asks whether she's crushing on Yu, but she rejects that accusation, and it starts an argument between them, both refusing that they have feelings for Yu. Just then, Kazuki pops up and mocks the sisters for fighting over some limp-willy loser like Yu. Then, being a midget, Yu asks Kazuki to help him put a pan on the top shelf, and she happily helps him out. After doing it, Yu thanks her with a smile on her face, and while Kazuki acts cool, she blushes hard, and the other sisters notice it. It starts another argument between all 3 of them, but Yu jumps in, scolding them for fighting, while not knowing the reason they fight, and it annoys all 3 of them. When the sisters leave, Yu notices that the whole place is dirty again, which annoys him, but when he thinks about how they ate at the same table, he's happy and proud of how far he has come. Suddenly, to his surprise, he stumbles upon a picture of the girls from years ago, and he can't believe how cute and precious they look. He then quickly realizes that one of the sisters owns it, but when he asks them, none of them admit that the picture is theirs. However, he realizes that the real owner of the picture is lying, refusing to admit that she wants her sisters to go back to the way things were, and has the same goal as him of wanting a happy family. The next day, before he gets to find out, the sisters inform him before school that they will all be leaving to go to competitions for the weekend, leaving Yu without answers. However, when he checks the locations where the girls are heading, he gets an idea to do something to get them closer. That night, Yu makes the girls some warm milk before bed, and informs them that he has booked them hotel rooms for the weekend. Miwa protests how much she hates hotel food, and Yu rizzes her up, teasing her for missing his cooking, and while she gets flustered, the others deep down admit that they will miss it. The next day, the girls leave for their events, and Miwa attends a shogi tournament, where she wipes her opponent's floor, proving her superiority as a genius. Afterward, on her way to the hotel, she walks past a cherry tree festival, which reminds her of the time she went with her sisters. Then, when she gets to the hotel, to her shock, Kazuki is also there, checking into her room. They ask each other why they are there, and suddenly, Nico pops up, also questioning why they're in her hotel. They all realize that they all went to the same city for their events, and just then, Yu pops up, expressing his disappointment with how the sisters do not know where each other went. Then, Yu reveals that they will be staying in the same room, and when they ask him why, he expresses how it's a good chance for them to bond on their time off, like actual sisters, by sharing a room. Then, he declares that he will be their festival conductor, and tells them that they all should visit the cherry tree festival like the old days. Instead of being happy, the girls bark at him for deciding something stupid the night before their big events, and he tries to win them over by telling them to visit a shrine that gives them luck. Initially, Nico scoffs at his idea, saying that real champions don't need luck, but when Yu shows her how goats like Messi, LeBron, Eminem, and Johnny Sins go to the shrine to be the best, the girls change their tune. He then shows them pictures of the foods at the festival, and the girls agree with how tasty it looks compared to hotel food. Just then, Kazuki is the first to agree to come to the festival, but she demands that all of the sisters wear something with more drip if they want to hang with her. So, Yu takes them to a kimono rental, and the owner is shocked to see the famous Mikadono sisters in her store. She quickly gets to work and puts the sisters in the best kimonos they have, making them look like true Japanese beauties. But Yu notices that Nico is on the sidelines, refusing to wear them. He tries to convince her to pick one out of the 100 pretty kimonos, but she refuses. Just then, the owner brings her a blue kimono, saying that it will enhance her tomboy aesthetic, but it reminds Nico of how, in the past, she wanted to wear girly stuff, but was forced to look more tomboy. Suddenly, Yu picks a pink, girly one for Nico, and while the sisters and the owner think that a girly aesthetic doesn't fit Nico, Yu strongly disagrees, saying she will look beautiful in it, which folds Nico sideways. Nico then agrees to try it on, and when she finally presents her look, they are all in awe at how beautiful she is, rocking a look that any man in existence would go to war for. Then, they arrive at the festival, and a second after arriving, Kazuki already has a crowd surrounding her, all of them fangirling over her performances as an actress, all the while her sisters and Yu are on the sidelines. The sight annoys Yu as he initially wanted Kazuki to spend time with her sisters, but seeing how at home Kazuki is among the crowd, Yu chooses not to disturb. Just then, a girl among the fans is not a fan of Kazuki, and gets annoyed seeing her own friend among the crowd, so she walks away from there, not convinced of Kazuki. Suddenly, her slipper breaks down, and she's about to fall, but Kazuki catches her from falling like a prince and rizzes her up, making her question her love for glizzies and changes it into scissors. Kazuki puts the girl down, leaving them in awe of her charms, but as she's walking away, she gets pulled into the bushes, away from her fangirls. When she looks who it is, it turns out to be Yu, who offers her food and wants her to enjoy the festival. Kazuki scoffs at his sentiment, but Yu focuses more on Kazuki's feet, saying how he knows she's in pain because of her tight sandal straps. She calls him a creep for paying that much attention, but Yu has had enough of her BS and forces her to put a band-aid on her feet. When he sees her feet, he feels awful about how Kazuki had to carry a whole human after seeing the damage on her feet. He scolds her for not asking for anyone's help, but Kazuki tells Yu that she has to be everyone's prince, and being a prince means not being a wimp who needs help. Yu laughs at her logic, and tells her that even the strongest prince need help from time to time. He then asks her for her feet, and to his surprise, she willingly gives him her foot, just like how your mom willingly gave some cheeks to the mailman. And Yu then applies the band-aid to her, preventing further damage. Meanwhile, Nico and Miwa are in the middle of a fish-catching contest, with Nico struggling to catch a single one. Just then, Yu and Kazuki pop up, and the sisters laugh at how Kazuki is wearing a stupid mask, but Yu informs them that she needs to avoid attention. Yu and Kazuki join them and play a team game against the other two to see who can catch the most fish. Miwa lightens the mood by telling Kazuki to keep the mask on as her usual face looks grumpy all the time, and she can't help but smile behind it. Then, after a few rounds, the girls get into it, and because of their competitive nature, Yu is unable to compete with them. But he sees this chance to leave them to continue playing while he plans the next event for the sisters. He heads to the festival's big event, a competition of crossing the lotus leaves, with the winner getting unbeatable competitor's luck, the same one Johnny Sins got, and a picture with the shrine's golden guardian, which is what the three sisters once got and is what Yu wants to win, knowing it's a precious memory for the three sisters. However, when the competition starts, one competitor falls into the water, and they all quickly realize that some of the lotus leaves sink. Then, one by one, other competitors fall, and while watching them, the event organizers reflect on how three sisters once won the whole thing with ease. When it's time for Yu to try, he fails too. But unlike the other chumps who give up early, Yu refuses to give up and keeps trying to the point that other people are worried. An hour later, it starts raining heavily, and Yu is still there, falling over and over again, but still refuses to stop. The organizers even offer him the win by forfeit, but he refuses to take a petty victory. He imagines how the sisters won it before by working together and using their advantages to get to the end. And with faith and determination, Yu runs once more. But this time, the anime gods are with him, and he manages to get across the pond to reach his victory.
Wow! Incredible!
The organizers congratulate him for the win and tell him to take the picture, but Yu asks them to wait while he goes to fetch the sisters first. But to his agony, he finds out that the festival closed early due to the rain, and nobody is there but him. He realizes that he messed up as the sisters' festival organizer because he was too selfish and only thought about himself. He remembers how the sisters didn't want to go there in the first place and how he wasted their time. But to his surprise, all three of them pop up with umbrellas, all covering him from the rain. He tells them how surprised he is to see them not abandon him, and they tell him that they're not that cruel to leave him behind. Kazuki reminds him that he's their festival conductor and urges him to continue his job, which lifts up Yui's spirits. Seeing Yui wet and on the floor, all three sisters simultaneously offer to share their umbrellas, and they all get flustered, realizing that all three of them want the same thing, and that is to walk hand in hand with Yui. So, they decide to play rock, paper, scissors, with the loser getting Yui, but they all deep down want to lose. It ends with Nico losing, and while she's walking alongside him, she can feel her heart running a marathon. At the hotel, the girls bathe together at the open bath, and after what happened before, Nico starts reflecting on why her heart was beating so fast. Out of instinct, she plays around with her plots, which shocks the other two, and they realize that Nico wants to grow them so Yui will like them. But they both scoff at her attempts, knowing that her mini twins will never compete with their mega melons. Then, when they step out of the bath, they find Yui looking lost and still as dirty as your ugly exes. And when they ask him what he's doing, he reveals that he stupidly forgot to book a room for himself because he was too focused on giving the sisters a great experience. He bids them farewell, saying that he will just sleep with the local hobos, but Kazuki stops him on his tracks, and the next thing he knows, he's staying with them.
You know what time it is?
The sisters agree that they refuse to abandon him all alone, especially since they usually live together. Yui thanks them a lot and tells them that he wants to find a robe so he can shower. He walks into Kazuki, trying to find a robe, and she gets flustered seeing him up close. Then, Miwa tries to help find a robe, and when he gets close to her, she can sense his manliness from behind and almost bust her cap. Just then, Nico finds a robe high up, but because she's short, Yui reaches over her, and she can smell his masculine smell, and almost cream right then and there. When Yui goes to shower, the girls are tweaking, realizing things can get freaky if it goes on. That night, all three of the sisters are unable to sleep, knowing that it's because of Yui being there with them. But they lie and convince themselves that they are simply excited for their competitions. Meanwhile, Yui is happy that the day went well and reflects on the moment he took their picture. It was difficult at first to get them to smile, but when he accidentally got himself even wetter, the girls laughed at him, which gave him the perfect picture to take. It pleases him that he managed to recreate the old photo, but when he looks for it, he realizes that the old photo is gone and there's a note left behind, telling him that the real owner of the photo has claimed it back. But Yui is not upset, as he now knows that one of the sisters is actually really grateful that they had this trip, so he takes that happiness into his dreams and falls asleep. Suddenly, all the sisters spring up, pissed with how easy it is for Yui to sleep. They reminisce about their day, and how Yui managed to pick the perfect kimono for Nico, a flowery one, which was exactly the one that Nico used to love before becoming a tomboy. She admits that that is true, but adds how Yui also managed to get Kazuki out of her actor's shell and got to enjoy herself for once. Miwa laughs at their comments, but they quickly remind Miwa that she hasn't changed, and she is still like she used to be, wanting to always play game stalls at the festival, even though she was horrible at them, so she needed Kazuki to win them for her. It confuses them why they are suddenly talking like this, and Kazuki expresses how they are usually so distant back home, with each sister doing her own thing. They realize that Yui has successfully achieved his goal of getting the sisters closer together. But deep down, while looking at the two photos, Miwa is happy that she got her sisters back with her, exactly like how it used to be, even if it's for one night, all thanks to the goat himself, Yui. After the festival trip, the girls have become closer to each other like true siblings, which warms Yui's heart. He remembers how he promised to cook them a great dinner, so right after school, he goes home, ready to make a feast. But when he opens the door, he's surprised to see the girls home early. But to his confusion, he sees a fourth pair of shoes there. Inside, he sees the girl standing in front of a man, and when the man starts speaking, Yui realizes that it's the girl's father, and quickly greets and thanks him for letting him stay. The father gives his condolences on Subaru's death, but assures Yui that her talent will live through her son if he tries harder. Suddenly, Yui realizes that the sisters are awfully quiet, and he finds out that the father has been interrogating his daughters about their progress, and all three daughters coldly tell their father that they are dominating their competitions like Bonnie Blue dominating the STD rankings. The father simply tells them to keep going and goes to leave, but Yu stops him. He tells the father that he's planning to cook a feast, and asks the father to stay for it. But the father coldly tells him that he has already heard his daughter's update, so there's no reason for him to be there. Just then, the father noticed the mask they got from the festival, and Yu joyfully informs him how he and the girls went to a festival. He asks Yu whose idea it was, and he tells him that it was his, as she wanted the girls to experience the same feelings from their childhood and get a picture with the Shrine of Luck. Instead of being pleased to hear that his children had fun, the father approaches Yu with hostility, saying that his daughters don't need some dumb luck to be great. He then tells Yu that he knows how much of a useless, talentless piece of trash he is, which is a disgrace to his mother, the great actress Subaru. He breaks the mask in half and tells Yu that there is no place in that house for a talentless bum. The father grabs his shoulder and grips it tightly, not wanting Yu to stay there anymore. But before he kicks Yu out, the girls come to his defense. They state that while Yu has no achievements or talent, he is still a remarkable workhorse who takes care of the house better than anyone could. The father refuses to believe that his daughters would fit in a house with such a talentless scum. But while flustered, they assure him that they need Yu in their life, as his presence makes sure that they stay on top of their game, and those words touch Yu's heart. After hearing his daughter's words, the father agrees to let Yu stay, but orders his daughters to only focus on their talents and never waste any more time on festivals and any other useless activities. When the father leaves, Yu tries to get them to eat his feast, but Nico tells him that they can't anymore. And a week after that, Yu is back to square one, stuck eating alone, and he now realizes that the main reason why the girls are so intimidatingly talented is because of their father's intense parenting. But Yu still can't help but remember how the girls look so down in front of their own father. Meanwhile, the girls are off training intensely, Nico with her martial arts, Kazuki with her acting classes, and Miwa with her chess training. But when it's time for the trio to eat something, Miwa remembers the sweet pudding Yu made for her, and she misses it compared to her plain crackers, while the other two feel the same way, as they all miss Yu's Michelin-level food. Back home, Yu is still disturbed by how the father said that he was hindering his daughter's progress, when all he wanted was for the sisters to eat together as a family and bond like actual sisters. He feels that it's over, but when he remembers how his mother believed that he could have a happy family, he insists to himself that it's not over yet. The next morning, the girls head to school, and Nico looks back in sadness, seeing that Yu no longer tells them good luck before leaving. But then, at lunch, Nico is about to eat her usual protein bar when her friends tell her how boring that meal looks. Nico tells her that all that matters is the protein, but when she reaches into her bag, she finds a lunchbox filled with homemade food that looks so good that her friends are jealous of her. Elsewhere, the same goes for the other sisters, and they also find a beautifully crafted homemade lunch, and they all know that Yu did this. Staring at the food, Nico feels that her heart is full, knowing that Yu still cares, all the while Yu is sleeping in class after preparing that food at 4 in the morning. Back home, Yu is pleased to see that the girls finished their lunch, and they sit him down for a discussion. They tell him that they are willing to fight for him to stay, as long as he supports their everyday life and ensures they stay at the top of their game, and Yu smiles with extreme joy, realizing the girls have accepted him.
Yes! 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 Yes!
The next morning, Yu hands the girls their lunches for the day, and when he wishes them all a good day, the girls leave the house, feeling warm and fuzzy inside. At her rehearsal, Kazuki tries out a female wig, feeling nervous at her first ever role playing a girl. Meanwhile, Nico is in the middle of training when her old upperclassman and mentor calls her, telling her that he will watch her tournament, expecting her to win, and elsewhere, Miwa is in the middle of a shogi game against a grandmaster, who's hoping that Miwa will take the next step and win the shogi title. All three girls head home with their heads down, feeling the pressure of their respective talents, remembering how everyone looks up to them. But when they get home, they are greeted by Yu, who's in the middle of making homemade udon for dinner, and when he slips, the girls laugh and forget about their pressure for a moment. Then, Yu serves them his first attempt at making udon, but after taking the first bite, The girls agree that the food tastes incredibly average. However, unlike what their father taught them, they realize and appreciate how something average can be so good. After dinner, Yu is in the middle of washing dishes when Kazuki pops up, wanting to help out. Yu looks at her with disgust, but Kazuki tells him that she wants to work on her feminine side, and Yu tells him that washing dishes has no gender. Yu then asks her about her upcoming audition, and Kazuki admits that while she feels anxious about it, her worries disappeared the moment she stepped into the house and saw him, so she believes that she will be okay. Just then, she notices the cuts on his finger, which surprises her as she thinks he's a great cook. But Yu tells her that he's not, and it's mostly his effort that made the food good. All of a sudden, Yu drops a plate, but after Kazuki broke a lot of plates in the past, Yu informs her that he has switched all the plates to hard plasticware. Then, when Yu is transferring the plates, he falls down again due to fatigue and gets a nosebleed. Kazuki gets worried, but when she's about to help him, she slips and they end up accidentally kissing intimately. Kazuki slowly gets up, and Yu is in heaven for a second before quickly apologizing to Kazuki, insisting that it's an accident. But to his surprise, Kazuki reacts calmly, saying that it was simply an accident, and goes back to her room. Yu is thoroughly impressed by Kazuki's composure and thinks to himself that she's not bothered by the kiss, as she's used to kissing people as an actress, but unbeknownst to him, that's not the case. The next day, Nico asks Kazuki to turn on the TV, but when Kazuki sees a couple kissing, she quickly turns it off and walks away. Then, Kazuki finds Miwa eating pudding that Yu made and offers it to Kazuki, saying that it tastes like a true love kiss. But hearing the word kiss, Kazuki gets pissed, goes to her room, and blushes heavily, clearly bothered by the kiss. Suddenly, Yu pops in, and she screams at him to knock first. Yu apologizes and asks to talk about their kiss. Yu fully expects that Kazuki doesn't want to kiss a talentless bum like him, and she agrees to that statement. So Yu tells her that they should consider that their kiss never happened, and it doesn't mean a thing, thinking that's what Kazuki wants. But when Yu walks out the door, Kazuki is furious, refusing to believe that her kiss doesn't mean a thing to him. Later, at rehearsals, Kazuki tries to focus on her first female role, remembering how her father wants her to learn how to play a girl, saying that a great actor has to be versatile. But despite her best efforts, even in a girl wig, Kazuki still sounds like a prince. So she decides to watch her co-stars closely. She notices how her fellow actress acts with a cute voice and teary eyes, and she plans to follow it. Kazuki responds like a prince for her, but when it's time to kiss her, Yuo's kiss flashes past her head, and she quickly steps back. Her coach stops their rehearsal for the day and tells Kazuki that she has to control her personal life as it affects her performance, which gives Kazuki an idea. Back home, Kazuki approaches Yu and requests that he make her stamina-inducing meals to enhance her performance, which Yu gladly accepts, and he's happy that things are back to normal. But suddenly, Kazuki gets kinky with Yu and demands that he go on a date with her on Sunday, which surprises him. Yu starts thinking if the kiss caused this plot development, but unbeknownst to them, the two others are listening to them, shocked to hear that their eldest sister wants a date with the all-talentless wimp, Yu, and they are worried about his poor glizzy, but decide to hide in their rooms. Then, while the others are not listening, Yu asks Kazuki what happened, and she explains that she struggled for her upcoming audition, where she had to play the heroine. So she wants to experience being a heroine for real so her performance can be authentic. Yu supports her intention, even amazed by her determination to be great, and Kazuki warns him to keep it hidden from the others. She warns him not to get the wrong idea, but Yu believes that to get the best out of her, she has to experience a real date, so Yu rizzes her up, saying that he got something special for her date with him, which makes her blush. The next morning, out of curiosity, Nico confronts Yu and asks if he's going anywhere on Sunday. When he tells her that he won't be doing anything special, Nico is in shock and is annoyed that Yu just lied to her, while imagining how he's clapping Kazuki behind her back. Meanwhile, Miwa recalls how she overhears about Yu's plan to make it a special date, and also imagines some freaky things in her head. That spoils the mood during dinner, which Yu notices. And when Kazuki telepathically talks to Yu about the date, that angers the two even more, which makes Yu worried that it might be their monthly time to bleed. On Sunday, Yu is happily waiting for Kazuki, not knowing that Nico and Miwa are watching him, wearing disguises that they both picked for each other. But while they aim to make themselves look weird, they look cute instead. Then, when Kazuki shows up, everyone turns heads seeing her in her feminine form. And while Yu is in awe at how pretty she is, the sisters are pissed seeing her rizzing up Yu. Kazuki urges him to start the date, and she does so by acting like a movie heroine, which pleases Yu, who now feels more like a man. They go to the aquarium while the others follow, and the duo is still in disbelief, seeing what Kazuki is wearing. But at the entrance, out of habit, Kazuki guides Yu down the stairs, and Yu has to remind her that she has to act like the princess and not the prince, so they switch places. When the show starts, Kazuki is trying too hard to look cute, and Yu assures her that it's best if she enjoys herself to get a genuine reaction out of her. Suddenly, the dolphins splash water at them, but out of habit, Kazuki saves Yu from getting wet like she's the one packing in the relationship, and it gets other people's praises around them, including the duo, who are pissed seeing Kazuki on top of Yu. As the date continues, they continue to struggle to change Kazuki's dynamic to turn into the heroine of the relationship, and the duo are relieved, thinking that the date is going horribly. Later, Yu leaves to go to the toilet, leaving Kazuki worried about her performance and anxious about disappointing Yu, who was excited for this date. Just then, a simp pops up, ogling over her bombshell physique, and offers her to join his couch agency, promising a scene for her involving Johnny Sins and Mia Khalifa. Kazuki tries to reject, but the guy keeps insisting, and in that moment, Yu shows up to save her, more Chad than ever, and tells this dude to scram from their date. However, the guy still insists that Kazuki can make a living as a performer, but Yu has had enough of this BS. With a loud and strong determination, he tells the guy that he can't have Kazuki as Yu is planning to marry her and have her beautiful babies.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal.
Which gets the talent scout to give up. But after what he just declared, everyone is in awe at how romantic he is. And while Yu wants Kazuki to forget what he just said, the love-craving woman inside Kazuki could never forget it, deeply acknowledging that Yu had just completely won her over. Yu then swiftly grabs her hand to take her somewhere, but notices how warm she feels, and she willingly follows him, leaving the duo confused on what kind of godly riz they just witnessed. They head to the cinema, and on their way there, both of them refuse to let go. Just then, some onlookers comment how Yu looks like Kazuki's little brother.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
And wanting to ensure it looks like a date, Yu grabs her hand tighter, which makes her squeal a little. However, she realizes it's making her more girly, so she squeezes his hand even tighter, making Yu respond by squeezing her even more, all the while the duo watches in disbelief. Then, they reach the cinema and Yu presents her a romance film for them to watch. But Kazuki recognizes the main actress of the film as her senior, one who, just like her, dreamed of being a great actress. But when they watch the film, Kazuki notices how her former senior acts very similarly to her old self, who used to play male villains, and she can't see her as the main heroine in this film. After the movie is finished, they walk out, and Kazuki overhears people around her talk about how horrible her senior is as the main heroine of the film, saying that she's not cute, and that makes Kazuki anxious, recalling how her father ordered her to never fail. Meanwhile, Yu realizes he messed up by taking Kazuki to that film, seeing that this film only makes Kazuki feel more self-conscious about her own acting. They leave the cinema, and Yu reveals their last stop, a Ferris wheel, which, to Kazuki and the two stalking sisters, is a very cliché way to end a date. But suddenly, fellow visitors talk about how the Ferris wheel has a curse that says that if a guy asks their date out, it's a guarantee that they will become a couple, which sends shockwaves to the three sisters, who realize what Yu, who wants a perfect date, is about to do. Kazuki tries to make an excuse, but Yu pulls her with him onto the Ferris wheel. On it, Kazuki can't stop her blushing, thinking of what Yu is willing to do to ensure she succeeds. She starts recalling how she started her successful career as a model due to her height, and continued as a stage actor who played male characters and got herself a lot of traction. But before she realized it, success became something she always had to achieve, and failure was not something that was allowed in her life. And with her father's words stuck in her head, she feels fear to act as a female character, knowing she can't fail at any cost, even if the odds are against her. However, she realizes that after today, she can't play a heroine, and thinks that she should step back from the role to avoid failure before it even happens. Suddenly, in the middle of her thoughts, she sees Yu tweaking and trembling all over the place, and she realizes that he's afraid of heights. He tells her that he's fine with heights, but is scared of the see-through floor, and she scolds him for picking this ride in the first place. However, he declares that he has to ensure their date is perfect, and that reminds Kazuki of the potential confession he's about to make. Yu stands up straight, scaring Kazuki, but as he's about to make the confession, he fails during it and makes himself look foolish. She tells him to sit down, but his failure eases her mind, seeing how, despite all the failures he makes, Yu is always willing to try, which makes her jealous, as she wants to feel the same freedom. Yu tells her that it's because he was a failure all his life, and says that there is value in failing. He sits beside her, and to her surprise, shows him pictures of her from their date, and all of them a result of when she failed to play a heroine. But they both notice one thing, that she looks beautiful and authentic in every single one of the pictures, and Yu tells her that while failing will hurt her, it will also make her find people who will love her, despite her shortcomings. That pulls on Kazuki's heartstrings, and while she refuses to agree with what he said, she knows deep down that he's right. When the ride is over, the stalking duo are confused, seeing how happy and jolly Kazuki is after the cinema incident, and question what happened on the Ferris wheel. Then, the couple walks along the river, and Kazuki expresses how, because of him and the date, she finally accepts her blunders, believing that there will be people who will accept her failures and that she should act as authentically as herself as possible. But Yu tells her that if she ever gets stuck, she should remember their date, and Kazuki is flustered by that statement. The stalking duo watches closely, realizing how close they are getting, and Nico is worried that this will continue at home. Kazuki glares at Yu intently, expressing in her heart how amazing he is for changing her perspective, despite being a failure. Suddenly, Kazuki grabs him close for a kiss, which makes Yu and the stalkers panic about what's about to happen. But she gets close to his ear and intimately whispers into his ear, telling him that the kiss they had was her first kiss, and she will never forget how his lips were the first ones she tasted, which makes Yu flustered. The duo are confused by what just happened, and Kazuki takes off her wig to go back to her old self, declaring that the date ends here and she needs to rehearse some more, leaving Yu by himself. But both Nico and Miwa know just by watching that Kazuki has fully changed, all thanks to Yu. Later at home, Yu apologizes for being home late and quickly prepares dinner for the others. But the two girls welcome him back, and Yu is surprised to hear that from them, and beg them to say it again, not knowing that they stalked his date with Kazuki and deep down, wish he would do the same for them. Days later, Yu and the girls are heading to school, but while geniuses like Kazuki and Miwa are walking leisurely, idiots like Yu and Nico are cramming their last study sessions before the exams. Kazuki teases them for being stupid, but when she sees how Yu gets close and trades notes with Nico, both she and Miwa get jealous, wishing they were also idiots. Suddenly, a guy runs through Yu, and a woman screams that he is a thief. Channeling his inner MC, Yu chases him, but ends up looking like a wimp instead. But Nico jumps in and attacks, but she's surprised that the thief is also a martial artist, which is a challenge to her. Yu feels worried that she might get hurt, but Kazuki assures him that Nico is the female Bruce Lee, and she knocks down the thief before retrieving the woman's bag from him. People around cheer for Nico's awesomeness, but when she sees that the woman gets cared for by the dudes, she feels a tinge of jealousy and hides her wound. But Yu notices it, and despite Nico's refusal to get treated, Yu shows her how caring he is and tends to her, which makes her blush. Suddenly, the thief gets up and runs away again, but he faces a group of dudes from a different school, and their handsome leader, Tatsumi, knocks out the thief in an instant. All the pedestrians watching recognize him as a national champion and a martial arts prodigy, but the sisters recognize him as an old friend. When Nico locks eyes with this handsome hunk, she calls him by his first name, which surprises Yu, and Tatsumi tells Nico that he is here to get her. Later, Tatsumi and his team visit Nico's dojo to train with them for a week, but Nico's crew is confused about why Yu is there with them. After seeing how he saw Tatsumi rizzed up Nico, he refuses to not be present. The vice captain tells Yu that Nico and Tatsumi go way back to their first dojo, but he believes that Tatsumi is bad news for them, as unlike their ugly faces, girls surround Tatsumi's handsome mug, which makes them jealous. Just then, Nico challenges Tatsumi to a spar like old times, and while Tatsumi doesn't want to hurt a girl, Nico insists, as she wants to show him her power. Yu and Nico's crew cheer her on, but Tatsumu defeats Nico with ease, surprising everyone with how strong he is. Nico is then about to ask for a rematch when Yu stops her. He scolds Tatsumi for not going easy on Nico, and while Tatsumi agrees with what he said, he's confused about who this twerp is. After calming down, Nico asks Yu to treat Tatsumi nicely, as he is Nico's hero. He tells Yu how, when she first joined her first martial arts dojo, she mowed through different boys like Prime John Wick, but because of it, they got jealous and cornered him. That's when Tatsumi beat them up to save her, and it was then that Nico grew fond of him. In that moment, Tatsumi approaches and compliments Nico for her skills, but to Yu's surprise, he wants to take Nico with him. He explains that he wants Nico to join his crew, and when Nico's crew reminds him that he's an all-boys school, he reveals that his school has become co-ed. He adds that he already talked to Nico's father, and that if she wants to get stronger, she needs to leave her old, pathetic crew behind and join him. Nico's team gets offended by what he said, but Tatsumi points out the obvious that none of them are on her level, which made it difficult for Nico to grow, and hearing that, they fall silent. Nico tries defending her crew, but they realize how Nico has always been carrying them, and, while heavy-hearted, admit that they are weak bums and that Nico should join Tatsumi's crew. After school is over, Nico walks home with Yu, who wants to know how Nico feels about getting recruited to Tatsumi's school. Nico tells Yu that the school Tatsumi goes to is perfect for a martial artist like her, as they have chefs who'll control their diet and rooms perfect for athletes. Yu is amazed by what he's hearing, but deep down, Nico acknowledges how, unlike the old her, she feels conflicted about leaving her sisters and leaving Yu behind. In that moment, Nico feels a tinge of fragility and asks to speak honestly to Yu. She tells him that she wants them to be together, but before he replies, her crew suddenly pops up, all telling Nico that they also want to be together with her before running away. Yu tells Nico that even her crew wants her to stay, but while Nico is happy to hear that, she's sad that Yu didn't get to answer her confession. At dinner, Nico is in the middle of eating when Kazuki suddenly allows her to use her expensive shampoo, one she never lets her use, and Miwa suddenly gives some of her food, which she never does before. It confuses Nico why they are both suddenly so nice, and Yu tells her that after the whole school finds out that she's being recruited by Tatsumi, both Kazuki and Miwa treat her nicely so she won't leave them. Nico feels pleased to know that her sisters want to be together, but when she thinks about Yu, she realizes she doesn't know what he thinks about her leaving. The next day, in the dojo, in the middle of training, Nico approaches Tatsumi and declares to him that she will not be joining his school. While her crew is overjoyed by this news, Tatsumi is furious, demanding that Nico leave these pathetic scrubs and be great together with him. But Nico believes that she can be great through a different path, and Tatsumi is livid, demanding to know what changed Nico into this soft loser. Her sisters and Yu pop to her mind, causing her to blush, but before she answers, Tatsumi taunts her for not prioritizing her talent and opting to be a normal, boring girl. Those words hurt Nico, and suddenly, from a locker, Yu pops up, refusing to let his girl get intimidated like that. He approaches Tatsumi and tells him that he can prove that Nico is with someone superior to him, which gives her a reason to stay. With his big willy energy, Yu challenges Tatsumi to a duel, with the winner proving themselves as the strongest and getting to keep Nico at their school. Yu declares that he also wants to be with Nico and is willing to do anything to win. Nico blushes hearing that, and while the others are touched, they quickly realize how screwed Yu is going against a bigger and stronger Tatsumi in a fight. However, the vice captain reminds everyone that Yu is the son of Subaru, and hearing that, Tatsumi feels a little intimidation, but is still confident that he'll win. Yu refuses to back down, telling Nico that he's the one who will be with her, which rizzes her apart. Back home, Yu trains with Nico, who has high hopes for Yu, as her future is on his shoulders. She orders him to first learn stepping, and instead of boxing steps, he starts dancing, but she lets it slide. Nico then explains that Tatsumi's greatest weapon is his kicks, so Yuyu needs to get close. But suddenly, he blitzes to her and gets himself punched out of shock. They take a break, and while wounded, Yuyu assures Nico that while he is leagues below Tatsumi, he refuses to go down without a fight, as what's important to him is that Nico is together with him. Nico blushes at his statement, but Yuyu ruins it by including her sisters in the mix. He then adds that he has grown to like sending them off every morning, and he now wants Nico to tell him everything. He gets forceful and pushes her into the wall, demanding she express her feelings, and not being able to hold her feelings. She tells Yuyu that she has also grown to like being sent off by him, which makes Yuyu happy. She adds that she wants to stay for her sisters as well, and in that moment, they both pop up and are caught eavesdropping. They both tell Yuyu that they will help him train to ensure his victory. Elsewhere, Tatsumi opens the challenge letter, and inside, Yuyu demands that Tatsumi is not allowed to use his dominant limbs, and because he has already accepted, he is forced to follow that rule for the duel. Later, after training, Yuyu and Nico are in shock to find Kazuki and Miwa in aprons, both declaring they want to help Yuyu all they can. Yuyu feels touched that these two would do this, but Nico and he see that despite their best efforts, they end up cooking something so vile, the animators refuse to animate it. It breaks them to know they're horrible at something, and they start sulking, but Yuyu suggests that he teach them how to cook. They try to play hard to get, but Yuyu pulls Nico to agree with him that they want to taste their cooking. Hearing that, the duo agrees, and they first learn from Yuyu how to properly boil vegetables without turning them crispy, and Yuyu praises Kazuki for being able to remember recipes quickly, which makes her blush. Then, he shifts his attention to teaching Miwa how to peel vegetables without peeling her own fingers, and she accidentally calls him sir, which makes her get flustered heavily. But during the whole process, Yuyu admires how prodigies like them, despite being horrible at something, are willing to always learn. Then, they end up cooking a perfect Thai dish, which, at first glance, Nico knows is her favorite dish in the world, unlike the censored black goo they served before. She realizes they made it specifically for her, and when she takes a bite, she genuinely praises their cooking for being delicious, which they happily take. But when Yuyu tries to eat, he can't move his hand properly, and realizes that he trained so hard that his hand is strained. Seeing that, Miwa feeds him, which surprises the others, but she doesn't care and tells him to eat. When Yuyu does eat from her hand, he praises the taste, which makes Miwa glow with joy. Kazuki refuses to lose and does the same thing, which surprises Nico, and when Yuyu compliments her, both Kazuki and Miwa glow, realizing that serving others with kindness feels nice, all the while Nico can only watch in frustration. The next day, they continue serving him during his training, and Nico feels annoyed by it. She tells Yuyu that they should end the training session, but when he tells her that he wants to continue, that fires her up, so she continues training with him. The next day, at school, Tatsumi contemplates hard about how Nico can turn from an obsessed fighter who wants to be strong into a fighter who refuses to come with him. Just then, Nico pops up, and upon seeing her, Tatsumi calls her weak for hiding behind other people's strengths to cover her indecisiveness in making a decision. He then walks away and tells her that after he ragdolls Yuyu, she will have to join his school. Back home, during training, Nico notices and praises Yuyu for being able to punch harder, but suddenly remembers what Tatsumi told her. She suddenly apologizes to Yuyu for dragging him into this mess, just because of her being indecisive. She recalls how both Tatsumi and her own father have always wanted her to be stronger and nothing else, which makes her feel the pressure. But underneath all that, they never knew how Nico also wanted to be someone pretty and feminine. Because of that, she became indecisive, not knowing which side she wanted, and told herself that the real her is not cute. But Yuyu assures her that it was he who challenged Tatsumi, and Nico has been feminine more times than she realized, which surprises her. Yuyu tells her that at first, he saw her as a monster, but it surprised him to see her as someone proper and caring about her beauty, that he even caught her admiring flowers. Nico gets furiously flustered hearing that, but Yuyu tells her how happy he is to see a new side of her. She apologizes that he has to see a weird side of her, but Yuyu believes that there's nothing weird about her, and he rizzes her up, saying that the real Nico is both strong and beautiful. Flustered, she punches him and curls up, saying how he's the only one who ever says that to her. She then tells him that because she's indecisive, she needs his help, and Yu has an idea that they should fight Tatsumi together. Nico thinks about a 2-on-1, but Yu already has a plan. The day of the fight, both Kazuki and Miwa are unable to fully focus on their events, as all they want is to watch Yu fight Tatsumi. In the dojo, everyone is in shock to see Yu asking Tatsumi to fight twice, first against him, and then against Nico. He reasons that since he wants Nico to join his school to become stronger, it also means that she doesn't have to join if either of them defeats him. Everyone and Nico look with disgust, calling Yu the villain. But he tells Nico he doesn't mind as long as he protects her, which makes her blush. He then tells her that he will try his best to wear down Tatsumi and hurt him to give Nico the advantage so she can win it. But in that moment, in his confidence, Nico sees that Yu is shaking in fear. So he holds his hands and, while flustered, smacks him and encourages him. That lights a fire inside Yu, and he enthusiastically declares to Tatsumi that he will smack him like he's Chris Rock. But a minute later, Yu is on the floor, defeated. But no one is surprised, knowing Yu only trained for a week. Then, it leaves Nico to face Tatsumi, but she feels pleased to see how much Yu has grown just in 1 week. She walks towards Tatsumi, pressuring herself to win for her loved ones. But when Yu tells her he'll be waiting for her at home, that gives her the clear of mind she needs to fight Tatsumi. The two face off, get in their fighting stance, and Nico jumps the gun and gets on the offensive. Knowing Tatsumi likes to kick, Nico keeps close and keeps attacking, but she realizes and is confused when she sees that Tatsumi is only blocking her attacks. But suddenly, he punches her in the gut, sending her to the floor for a breather. What Nico doesn't know, Tatsumi is aware of all her moves since he saw all of her fights for years. Nico goes for another attack, but gets countered, which gives Tatsumi the point, putting him a point away from victory. While the others watch in agony, Nico realizes her skills are useless against Tatsumi. Then, before the fight even ends, Tatsumi demands that Nico come with him, as he refuses to continue seeing her this week. Nico acknowledges that Tatsumi is right and that she should follow him in order for her to become strong. But suddenly, Yu starts a cheerleading squad with Nico's team to cheer her on. And while that annoys Nico, it also breaks the ice for her. She starts giggling, and remembering what Yu said about her, she embraces her other side fully. In that moment, Tatsumi notices that Nico has changed. And when she goes for the attack, Tatsumi fully expects a punch, but ends up getting kicked, a move that Nico has never done before. She goes again, and he expects a straight, but ends up getting smacked instead, another move Nico never does. Her team is in awe seeing how Nico is breaking her own boundaries of being textbook, and opting for a more free-flowing approach. But what Yu notices more than anything is that Nico is smiling. Her attacks give Nico 2 points, also putting her a point away from victory. Tatsumi calls out Nico for acting as someone that's not her, but as she leaps for her final attack, she presents herself as someone Tatsumi doesn't recognize, but is someone that is fully her. The other sisters walk in during this moment and see Nico landing a hit on Tatsumi while smiling, giving her the victory. Everyone celebrates seeing their captain's victory, while Tatsumi's team is in disbelief, seeing the district's best fighter experiencing a loss. In her glory, Nico looks towards Yu and gets flustered, feeling thankful for the win. Nico hands her a towel and helps her wipe her sweat, while welcoming her back. She starts crying, and while embarrassed to be seen like that, she cries on Yu's shoulder, wanting to cry in victory just this once. Thank you for watching today's recap video. If you enjoy this recap, comment down below the real Nico and hit the like button for part 9.